different on YouTube. So it's good that you asked, and it's good that you took that experiment, but make sure that you're paying really close attention to what's happening with that video. So they could be cool, they could be receptive to it, which is a huge win for you if so, but you want to go in and you want to go into your stats and you want to see the amount of subscribers that are watching that new video. You want to see how long your subscribers are watching that video, and for your non-subscribers, see how they're responding to that video as well compared to other videos that you've also put out recently. So compare videos that you put out recently to that new video and use that as the experiment. In addition, if you continue to put those out, put them in a group inside of your analytics. There's a grouping option, and with that grouping option, you can actually group chunks of content together. So yours would be that content outside of your niche, and then you can have your content that's in your niche in another group with a similar view count as the total, and then you'll be able to see specifically people are watching this group longer, people are watching this group shorter, people are clicking on this group more, they are sharing this content more than the other content, but you can actually see that by content type in that situation instead of it just being at a per video level. So it's a more detailed way to look at stats when you're trying to experiment with content in that way to see what your audience actually responds to, because you and I'm sure there's plenty of people in the chat that have had this happen. Like, one of the things that happens on YouTube a lot is, like, we'll post a poll, right? We'll post a poll to our community feed, and we'll be like, hey, do you think I should do this? And people will be like, yeah, do it. And then you publish it, and like, it's crickets, right? Nobody watches it, or with the people that do watch it are non-subscribers, or your subscribers just watch it for like a small amount of time because they didn't care. I'm not saying that's your situation, but what I'm saying is that since you are experimenting with a different type of content, go in and literally use the data instead of using what people are telling you in your comment section. Blacktop Devil, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Says, I've been posting weekly for over a year and I've seen some great growth, but I decided I needed to take a few weeks off to get caught up at home. Any ideas on how many weeks I can skip without it hurting my channel too much? So it depends on how much traffic you still have coming into your channel. So you can take a break on YouTube, but the trick to that is you still have to have traffic coming into your channel. So let's say you have 100 views or videos on your channel over the course of the month. When you're publishing on a regular basis, let's say you get 500,000 views. But when you're not publishing, because everything's relying on the old content, let's say that goes down to like 100, or we'll just say 250,000 views. Let's say it goes in half or less. Then in that situation, what you're doing is you're reaching that many less people, which means that when you publish that next video, it might be a hit because the same rules apply. Like, as long as you get people to click and watch and engage, then you're going to be okay. But that initial group of people that are going to see it might end up being smaller. So it really depends on the activity that's currently happening on your channel. I would limit the break for as long as you can. I would try not to go over a month if you can avoid it. If you can just squeeze out a small piece of content, even if it's just, if you normally do 10-minute videos, if it's just like a 3-minute video, for the sake of just getting in front of some people, giving a little spike of activity on your channel, as long as it's relevant to your audience, I would try giving that a shot if you can. But I would try not to go over a month if you can avoid it, because you want to stay within those recent viewer histories as much as you possibly can, and the less that you're there, the more difficult it is to, like when you publish, to get that activity going. But again, like this varies massively per niche, so you might be fine if you just publish a video. If you normally get a decent amount of views on your stuff, if you publish a video and it's in alignment with that group that is going to see it initially, then they'll keep pushing it out anyway, so you'll be fine. But if it was me, I wouldn't go over a month, just for the sake of making sure that I have at least a little bit of consistency so that I stay relevant in the minds of my viewers, for one, but also so I stay relevant in the activity around my channel and new people seeing my stuff. I'll buy the popcorn. Says, good morning, I'm curious to know how many times you would recommend add the subscribe pop-up through the video. So I've experimented with this, and for me, I found that a call to action at the beginning, a subscribe reminder pop-up in the middle, and then a call to action at the end typically performs just as good for me as a call to action to subscribe in the beginning, and then 3 remind graphics, and then another, and then the end screen again. 1 or 3, either one, got the same result for me, or really close. So just 1 is fine, but I would make sure that you put it, just a little power tip here, as long as you can remember to do this, because some people are just in the editing process and they don't think about it, but if you can remember to do this, I've also found this to be effective. After you share information or you have a moment in your video, kind of, you know, the thing that people click on the video for. Like after you have that moment in your video to where it's like an aha moment, or it's a, oh yeah, I agree with this person moment, or it's a, oh God, that was a hilarious moment, whatever it happens to be, drop it right after that. So it's like you have them at their peak. They just had like a moment with you. Drop that subscribe graphic in the video, just as that quick reminder for, oh yeah, I just had a great time here. I'm emotionally high. So because of that, I'm going to click on this subscribe button because this person just delivered. And it wasn't pizza. Let's see here. RNN's channel says I want to do Peppa Pig, but will I get copyrighted? Yeah, there's a good chance. Make original content. Lindsay Milligan says, oh, I didn't get a notification for this. I'm loving your videos to grow my channel. I'm relaunching my channel after a hiatus, and it's very different now. Yeah, so YouTube changes quick, right? So YouTube changes quick, and that whole viewer history thing that I was talking about, if you have a lot of activity happening on your channel, it's not as big. But if your channel kind of lives and dies by your publish schedule, then in that situation, when you do take breaks, then it can be a little bit more difficult to really recover. But again, as long as you focus on just making sure that you're putting out content that people have enjoyed in the past, excuse me, and you package that content in the way that people have enjoyed in the past, then you'll be fine. You'll be able to get it back. All right, next question that we have in the chat here is from, do you like that build up? From Breathe Fitness TV. Oh, you know what? I had some super chats. Let me go in and answer those really quick too before I forget and they get pushed way back in my brain. And then people send me messages on Twitter. Insane McLean in the membrane in the chat. What's up? Nice to see you. Nice to see you swinging by the chat here. Hope you are doing fantastic. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to supers. And waiting for this to load. All right, so the other one that I had here on the list, let's see here. We got Blacktop Devil, we got Chris, we got the relationship life. Karma Cash Flow says, I usually batch recorded, or I actually batch recorded 156 videos in 10 days. Wow. Woo. Wow. That's insane. Cameron here says, I hired to my channel, came back twice a week. Oh, okay. So, Cameron Reddy says that after a year hiatus on my channel, I came back and uploaded twice a week. 2 months, and I have 321 subs. Any tips on dealing with the reset? Yeah, so if it's been that long, you're definitely going to have to go through that process of just being, being relevant again. So, again, all it takes is one right video to kind of kickstart everything again. But what you need to do is you need to look at the activity that's been happening around your channel. So if you go in your stats, Art Reef, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. And I'm not doing channel reviews. I'm not doing channel reviews at the moment. So basically, when you're trying to get the channel re-going again, one thing that you can count on is inside of your YouTube analytics, they're going to show you the videos that have been performing for you over the last 28 days. Like these are your top, X amount of videos over the last 28 days. So what you want to look at is you want to see, okay, so these videos are getting a lot of views on them. They're also probably generating some subscribers here and there, that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the topics here and I'm going to look topically to see which of these videos people have responded to the most. And then my new content that I'm putting out, I'm going to make sure that I make content that's topically similar so that I can get in front of people, or so that my content will get shown to the people that enjoyed those videos that have had the most activity on my channel over the last 28 days. Okay, so that's what you want to do to just kind of get that whole thing moving a little bit quicker, is you want to tap into the current interests that your audience has with the content that they're currently or that they've been watching on your channel. And let's see here, Director Jim and Paul says, hey Nick, I have a metal detecting channel and I'm finding it hard to get traffic to my channel. What can I do to increase more traffic to my channel? So here's the thing, Director Jim and Paul, is when it comes to content or putting content on YouTube and getting views on it, it really comes down to the packaging. So I'm going to take a look at your channel here really quick, just because it'll be it'll give me a more accurate way to answer this, because there could be a lot of different things that would get your that would help. So I'm going to Detector Jim and Paul.
っていうとそれが決まってるパターンが多いもんね。昨日は決まらなかった。
Okay, make sure this is the same channel, and it looks like it. Okay, okay, here's what you need to do. Right now, you need to go and you need to start watching some videos on thumbnails, okay? And the reason that you need to start watching videos on thumbnails, here, I'll pull this up really quick. Let me make sure that I can... Okay, so if you look at your thumbnails right now, you're going to see like some of this text on here is really difficult to read. There's all kinds of just stuff going on in your thumbnails. What I really recommend that you do now is instead of just putting all of this stuff on your thumbnails, instead, I would actually just focus on the imagery itself, because adding all of these things to your thumbnails, I think it's kind of like cheapening the perception of the experience somebody might get if they click on your video. So because of that, I would take the text off of all of your thumbs, and whatever it is that you are actually focusing on in your content, that you're actually trying to bring attention to for your metal detecting, whatever objects they are, I would focus your imagery on them instead of focusing it on just like random, you know, like fields and stuff like that. I would actually experiment with the fields, like, you know, you wouldn't believe what I found in this place type of thing. You wouldn't believe, was metal detecting here, you wouldn't believe what I found is the title, with a little arrow going to, you know, something. But the idea is when you are putting out videos and you're trying to grab somebody's attention and pull them into what it is that you're doing, it's really important that you think of, okay, if somebody sees this, what are they going to think? What could they possibly gather from this thumbnail that they're seeing? And of course, you have all this text on there, which might give a little bit of context, but I would focus all of my efforts right now just on the image itself without any text on it whatsoever, without any branding icon or anything, and just focus on working on your title with a really good image on it. I would focus on that right now for your next like nice handful of videos instead of putting all the text on here. And the reason for this is this, because unless you have design experience, in my opinion, you can, not even my opinion, I've actually seen this, like I've worked with people this way, like you can work against yourself. So like here as an example, you have this text on here, but unless you're really taking the time to look at what it says, a lot of this text gets lost and there's really just a hodgepodge of stuff going on here and you can't really tell what any of it is. So because of that, I would make sure you do that. Number two is I would also make sure that if your channel is a metal detecting channel, that you put out only metal detecting content. So here you have like lockdown dog walk. If your channel's about metal detecting, I would have metal detecting somewhere in, like if you found something on your dog walk, or if your dog walk, if you metal detected while you were doing your dog walk, I would make sure that that is in the title somewhere. Metal detecting would always be in the title somewhere, unless you're going for something that is strictly a, you know, where your image is strong and the title would support the image. But if that's not the case, I would definitely put metal detecting in all of the titles, not just the word metal detecting, but I would actually work it into the title, if possible, with the titles that you're putting together. But other things is, the reason I was saying that is because here you have like a push-up challenge that has nothing to do with metal detecting. You have dog walking, nothing to do with metal detecting unless you're detecting there. But from the outside, because you're trying to reach people that are interested in metal detecting, and this is important for everybody. You're trying to reach people that are interested in metal detecting, but if they saw this lockdown dog walk image, there's nothing on here that has anything to do with metal detecting, so those people would have no clue that this video was actually something that they're interested in, which would hurt that ideal audience, the possibility of them clicking on it. Same thing here in this situation. Right? Day one challenge. So you have detector, Jim and Paul, which is cool, but there's still within the name itself even, you know, you have detector, but it's not, you know, specific to metal detecting. This, your channel icon, and I'm going a little bit further than I anticipated on this really quick, but I just see it, so I have to. But like your channel icon even, and how you have your imagery together, like you have detector, but the imagery that you have to really pay close attention and actually spend some time looking at your imagery in order to realize that there's even metal detectors involved in any way, shape, or form going on here. So what I would do is I would fully focus everything on just adding some metal detecting imagery, having the text done. If you have any text on here at all, I would make it more about, instead of like, welcome to Detector Jim and Paul, it would be, you know, metal detecting with Jim and Paul. Right there in the channel art, bam. Any of the imagery that you're using in here, I would definitely make sure that there's a metal detector in there somewhere for the sake of being able to connect yourself with the people that are interested in that metal detecting content. So next up, and I saw some more super chats come in, so I will be addressing these too, and then we'll get back into the questions here in just a moment. Un momento, por favor. Okay, so really quick, Go Garrett says that in TubeBuddy Keyword Explorer, if the ideal is to use weighted score to target best keywords specific for their own search or for their own channel, what/who uses unweighted score then? So if you were doing like meme content or something like that, or you're doing content that just has like an extremely broad audience, then in that situation, then you'd be fine using the unweighted score. You could also use the unweighted score just to give a general idea, right? Because what that does is that just lets you know competitively, that lets you know kind of, where you would be at just in general. So if you're using the free version, you have the unweighted score, gives you a general idea, but once you do go into the paid version to where it's weighted, then it's just more specific to what's actually happening on your channel. So that's kind of that's the difference between the two. Okay, now I'm going to refresh this page here, and then I'm going to go in and answer these for you guys really quick, just so that none of them go unanswered. Kid Crayon, love the channel name, by the way. Kid Crayon, welcome to the channel membership. Make sure that you check the community feed. There's some stuff in there for you. Also, next time you're on Facebook, make sure that you join the Niminati VIP Facebook group and fill out all the questions on the way in, because that's how I confirm that you're a channel member. Look forward to interacting with you in there. Let's see here. So to get back here on these questions, let's see here. Okay, so next up on our list, we have Insane McLean says, what is usually in a first video? So it can be anything. Like mine, it was just me teaching people how to overcome camera shyness. On my All Our Questions channel, my first video there was a channel trailer, and then I promoted that channel trailer around a bit. And then after that, my first video was about how to be happy. So it really just comes down to, what it is that you want to put out. But there's no like set rule of what a first video can be. Even with your channel trailer, if you're wanting to put a channel trailer, you just publish it as unlisted, and then you can just add it in that channel trailer spot, and then just keep moving forward, and you don't skip a beat. Lindsay Milligan, welcome to the channel membership. For you also, make sure that you check the community feed, because there's some free stuff in there. Make sure that you also join the Niminati VIP Facebook group, because there's some free stuff in there as well. And when we do our monthly stream, we actually stream it into the Facebook group. And I keep saying also that I want to do more streams in there, and I do. So I'll eventually start streaming more than just once a month in there. But when we do our monthly streams, it happens in that Facebook group. Carl Constantine, thank you for the super chat there. Says, hey, Nick, I have a macro photography channel. Awesome. I have some macro photography on my Instagram that you might enjoy. Sort of macro anyway. Let's see here. Still new, trying to learn and apply. 55 subs so far. What am I doing right and what am I doing wrong? Okay, so the channel reviews, I'm not actually doing those today. I just happened to pull that one up for the sake of just, answering the question. But I'm not doing direct channel reviews today. So if you're just getting started, here's what I can tell you, though, is that it's really important if you have 55 subscribers, it's really important to make sure that you are being extremely focused with the content that you're putting out. So if you're doing macro photography, a channel about it, just make sure that the only content that goes on your channel is macro. You know what? I'll look at it. I'll look at the channel. Let me pull it up here. Yeah, because I'm gonna have to search for it. If it comes up when I search for it and I don't have to dig around for it, then I'll find it. Because I just don't I don't want to turn this into a channel review stream. So I'll just give you a quick thanks. Again, because I can't do the whole breakdown. Constantine. Okay, you're right here at the top. Okay, so really quick, since we're all here and we've got here to this point on, let's see here. There's D, by the way. Miss you, D. Let's see here, second screen. Okay, so here we go. So on your channel, I would add a little bit of clarity to what it is that you offer on your channel. Even though you have the imagery up here for the for this, I would put something about, like learn macro photography. I would put that somewhere up here so that it's very specific. I would also, one thing to think about is if you're teaching people how to do macro photography, those people are going to be very into imagery, right? Because of that, I would use your macro photography skills to focus them only on an image in your thumbnail. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to have a image and then I'm going to do this like little graphic on the side and then I'm going to put a bunch of text in there, instead of doing that, I would completely lose that out of your thumbnails and I would focus everything on the imagery itself. If you're teaching people how to do macro photography and you're good at photography anyway, you're an imagery minded person anyway. So leverage that skill to think about, okay, I'm going to be teaching people how to do this specific thing. So what images should I have in my thumbnail in order to portray that without needing text in here? Because you're trying to reach image focused people. They're not going to be sitting there, reading all the text on everything you have. They're going to be image focused people. So because of that, I would focus all of your efforts on the imagery and taking really good shots that you would add to here. Now, you have here, like, how to use a macro lighting frame. And then you actually show like a behind the scenes where you have like this DIY frame that you have right over here on this side. So what I would do is I would experiment and I would see if, okay, when I do thumbnails like this, where I'm just focusing on the imagery itself versus a thumbnail like this to where I'm actually showing behind the scenes of the actual setup to get the imagery, like what do people respond to most? And I would start paying really close attention to that sort of thing. But in terms of like, having your best practices with your, playlists and all that on your homepage, like you're doing fine there. Just a little bit of fine tuning on that and really just how you're packaging your content is the thing that you need to work on right now. Package your content and go and look and see how all the people that are making content like yours that are getting views, go and see what it is that they're doing with theirs and how they're packaging your content, because those are the people that you're going to be competing with. Dr. Lisa Cortez, welcome to the channel membership. You as well, make sure that next time you are on Facebook that you look for Niminati VIP, that's the Facebook group. Also make sure that you check the community feed here as well, because I've got free stuff here and free stuff in the Facebook group as well. Okay, next up is what's the top skill that you would improve for YouTube? Is the question here for this one. So the top skill that I would recommend that everybody improve for YouTube would be delivery, because how you deliver the information that you are sharing is really important. If you're an entertainer, how your delivery for your entertainment is extremely important. If you have comedy content, your delivery is important. If you're a musician, how you're delivering, hey, this is the song I'm going to be playing. This is why I care about it. This is my tweak I'm going to be putting on it, whatever. If you're teaching people, like in your case, I see that you are, if you're teaching, your delivery when you're teaching people is super important, because that delivery gives them the impression of you. So because of that, you want to make sure that you really, really work on your delivery. In addition to that, making sure that you are, in terms of a skill, the skill to improve would be understanding the data behind what it is that YouTube shows you in your analytics. And also building your own data sets as well through spreadsheets, because when you are doing all of this stuff, if you can read the data, that's one thing, but if you can interpret it in different ways in terms of, okay, well, I'm seeing this in my analytics or in my audience retention, for example. So I'm seeing this in my audience retention. What does this mean? Does this mean that people didn't like this point of the video? Or does it mean that I went for too long without talking? Or does it mean that the music that started right here, shortly after that, people left? So was it the music or was it the segment that I went into? What was it here that people didn't like? But being able to interpret that and then take that information and then test it on future videos is definitely a skill that is important to learn. But that delivery will keep people watching your videos for a long period of time, because you know how to deliver the content. So there's a channel called Charisma on Command. I recommend that you watch that. Watch anything on like public speaking, on charisma, any type of content like that. Watch it. Noah C says, I customize things. How can I get more subscribers? I'm not sure I understand your question. So if you customize things just in general, then in your particular case, I would find the most popular things that everyone has, cell phones, a mouse on a computer, coffee cups, like whatever it happens to be. Like I would find whatever popular items are out there that like everybody has, a toilet paper holder, stuff like that. And I would try to customize those in fun ways. And then I would hop on Reddit, and that would probably be really good content for Reddit, as long as I'm understanding what it is that you do on your channel. But I would try to actually share that content on Reddit, as long as you're doing what my brain thinks that you're doing on that channel based on your question. Become a pro. Says, hey, Nick, Become a Pro BCP says, hey, Nick, I need your guidance on helping me monetize my YouTube channel. I make reaction videos and none of them are copyrighted. YouTube won't let me reapply for the program and I've waited 30 days. I don't work at YouTube, so I'm not the person for that. So what you need to do is you need to tweet at Team YouTube on Twitter and try to get that conversation going with them. Roberto Blake in the house. What is going on? Roberto, nice to see you in here. Today, man, I'm running with Streamlabs, so I don't have StreamYard set up, but thank you for hopping into the chat. I appreciate it. Next week, if you're available, I would love to do another group live stream, but if you're available, let me know. If not, then I can do another one of these, but definitely let me know if you're available for that next week. iFund Chris just dropped $1, so thank you for that. Go Garrett, we got him taken care of. Art Reef says, will I do a channel review? We're not doing any more of those today. And I think that got everybody taken care of. And it does. Okay, so that brings us up to speed. Now we will get back into the forum here to answer some questions. All right. Says he's totally down. Okay, so next week we're on another group stream. So here's the thing. If you've never seen one of our group streams before, make sure that you bookmark and that you put into your schedule for next Saturday to show up here, because we have some awesome conversations in our group live streams, and we want you to hang out and listen to them. We want to answer your questions and get both of our feedback and anybody else that joins on the group streams. So Breathe Fitness TV, we got that one taken care of already. Next question we have on the list is Art with Taco. So Art with Taco says that they upload every other day. They've been on YouTube for less than 6 months, and they have a drawing channel. Drawings, and they the goal of the channel is I upload videos so I can make money but also have fun. And the question is, how do I get people to discover my channel? Here's the thing. All the people that you're trying to reach, every single one of the people that you're trying to reach are on YouTube, or they come on YouTube on a regular basis. If not, you wouldn't be uploading videos to YouTube. Okay, so because of that, if you want to get people to discover your channel, you have to think the people I'm trying to reach. Oh, Breathe Fitness says I didn't answer the question. Pardon me. Let me go back. Breathe Fitness TV says I have one video. It's a health and fitness channel. The goal is to help as many people be active as possible. And the question, I'm glad you mentioned that. Pardon the delay. Breathe Fitness TV says that I have one video that gained loads of views the minute I uploaded, which is very unusual for my channel. How can I use analytics to see exactly why it was doing so well to help me with future uploads? So if it gained loads of views the minute that you uploaded it, then typically what that means, hey, Vigard, what's up, dude? Nice to see you. Neil, Urban Explorer, nice to see you here as well. But basically what that typically means is that when you first put that out, people started responding to it right away. So typically what you'll see in those, if you scale it down to that first day, you'll typically see that the click-through rate on that video is a lot higher than your other videos typically are for that first hour or for the first day. You'll also typically see that your audience retention was typically higher, or a combination of the two. Those are typically the things that make a video perform very good right when it's published. Another thing to keep in mind is the time. Check the time that you actually publish that video, because you might have published it at a time of day or a specific day that there's more activity happening on your channel, which means that the people that are viewing your content are more online at that point in time. And because of that, when you publish that video, you just happen to get out in front of them, when they were online more than they typically are. So you can find that in your stats, but look at your click-through rate, look at the watch time that you got when the video was first published. And then sometimes it could have just been that not a lot of content was going out at that time, which gave you the opportunity to actually be in front of a lot more people at that point in time. Timing is a lot on YouTube. But those are the things that you should look at. A Costarina, hope I'm saying that right, says, hello, Elisa here. Hello, Elisa. That's much easier to say. Says, I have a channel and I'm a sewing teacher in Brazil for 6 years. I did a podcast. Do you think it's a good idea to share it fully on YouTube with the video of me talking, only the audio, or take them to a Spotify? How to promote it? Okay, so when it comes to your podcast and YouTube, you can definitely cross-promote if it's a good fit for YouTube. So the downside of podcasts is that podcasts are a different experience than an edited video experience. So because of that, they're typically longer form and all that stuff, not as like bite-sized consumable like other YouTube content. It doesn't mean it won't perform well on your channel. What I would do in your situation is I would actually try one. I would publish a video that's a podcast and see how people responded to it. Make sure it's edited, because it's still, make sure you still edit it into a video. But I would publish the video as an actual video podcast on YouTube on your channel, as long as it's also related to sewing, and see how people respond to that. If they don't respond well to it, then in that case, you could start another channel to where you publish the video side of it as well. And then you can cross promote your audio podcast from YouTube, and then you can cross promote your YouTube podcast from your actual podcast itself. But there's plenty of successful podcast channels on YouTube. Like if you look for the Jocko YouTube channel, it's just like, him and another dude, they got a couple of cameras. It's like black and white, really cool looking, but the info is great. So because of that, it's successful on YouTube, but it's also a successful podcast in general, but they made their content available for people on YouTube as well. So because of that, they put the video side out. I was going to do that with my podcast, Comments Over Coffee, but I'm not going to anymore. What I'm going to do in that situation is I'm just going to let people go and listen to it on the audio side so that I can still do the thing, which is wake up, have a cup of coffee, do my podcast without having to shave or, put on clothes that aren't pajamas, and that kind of stuff. So because of that, I'm keeping them over there, just on the audio side, on iTunes and Spotify and everywhere instead of having it on YouTube. But if getting ready and if you can make a video for your podcast, then in that situation, if that's something you want to do, then definitely do it and definitely get it on YouTube, because it does give you the ability to tap into an additional audience on YouTube and just be another resource for your current audience on YouTube. But I would experiment as long as it's the same type of information and the target audience is the same. I would still experiment with just putting it on YouTube just to see how people respond to it. I'm in the process of doing that myself. So typically, these live streams, I'm answering questions, and because of that, people are always coming into the live streams. They enjoy that. And I also have the podcast where I answer questions. People are enjoying that podcast. I'm getting a lot of listens over there now. And because of that, I was like, hey, let's do this on my YouTube channel again, because I did it when I first launched my channel. But now I'm doing the same exact thing to where it's not a podcast, but I'm like, hey, I'm just answering your questions. So that's what my last video was, to where it's just directly, I'm answering this question from this particular viewer, and I'm making it a video. So I do that, and I record those when I'm in video mode, not when I'm in just waking up, having coffee, answering questions mode. So that's the difference. But yeah, so in your case, I would give it a shot on your channel. At the very least, let people know. Like in this situation, I've got a thing that pops up here. Let this rotate through a little bit. This is a great resource site that I made for you guys, by the way, bestcreatortools.com. Comments over coffee. So I use this live stream as a way to bring attention to mine as well. So everybody, if you listen to podcasts, Comments Over Coffee, you definitely need to go listen to that also if you're digging this information. All right. So next up, we've got, let's see here. We did that. So we're going to go back now into this other one. Art with Taco says, how to get people to discover my channel. Yeah, so the rant that I was on there was that basically the people that you're trying to reach are already on YouTube. So because of that, the way that you get people, hey, Hybrid Steel, what's up, dude? The way that you get people to, discover you on YouTube is you make content that they care about, right? You make content topically that people are interested in. You make video content, the actual core of the content that adds value to people, and then you package it in a way through your thumbnail and title that makes sense to the people that you're trying to reach, or that would cause them to want to interact with what it is that you're doing. Now, of course, Launchpad Astronomy, what's up, dude? But of course, it's going to be different across different, genres of content. But in order to get people to discover you, you have to get good at getting people to click on your titles and thumbnails. Sometimes it just comes down to making more content that you're packaging in a good way, so that when you're making that content and you're packaging it with a strong thumbnail and title, that you're